morning, everyone. Well, it's morning in UK, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ma. I live in UK and I grow my 300 and something plants in semi-hydroponics. So if you are interested, please subscribe and leave the thumbs up. If you are leaving a thumbs down, please have the balls and put in the comments why you did it. Right, let's move on. So in the last 2 weeks or so, I think I've got at least 300 questions on Instagram about semi-hydroponics. So I don't know, I don't think I'm explaining the stuff right, or the people that are asking me, they don't watch my videos. So we will do, I hope, a short video with semi-hydroponics for beginners and what to do, the basic stuff. So like that, maybe I will not get any more questions like that, or I don't know. Right, you got your leca. You can get your leca from wherever you want, okay? All the leca, it's supposed to be made the same, so all the brands, so I think they are made the same. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on that. Buy your leca, soak it. If you don't have the time to soak it for 2 weeks, boil it. In my case, it's not an option, because when I buy the leca, I buy like 90 liters of leca at once, and I'm rinsing them all and soaking them for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, doesn't matter, but at least 2 weeks. If you have less plants, boil it. Right, you have your leca, choose a container. Now you can go from glass to plastic, like plastic cups, nursery pots. This is a candle holder, anything, yogurt cups, anything that you want. Right, choose a pot. Do not put semi-hydroponics plants in ceramic pots that are not glazed inside, terracotta pots. It will not work, because the water will be absorbed by the pot and you will not have results, good results. All right, so we choose our pots depending on what pot we chosen. For this one, for example, we don't need a reservoir, or this one, we don't need a reservoir, because they can be the reservoir on the bottom, right? Remember, transparent pots, if you don't put them in something like, I've did a video what I'm doing with transparent pots, and I will link it, I think, in the corner there. You will have algae if it's in the direct sunlight. You can put it further, you will still get some algae, but not so much, right? For example, all my African violets are in there, and they are all in transparent pots, but because they get the light, the artificial light, they are perfectly fine. All right, so you will not need a reservoir for those. If you choose these, you will obviously need a reservoir, and I'm well prepared as always. This had water in it, brilliant. So you will need a reservoir, you get my idea. You will need a reservoir for the pot to sit in, only the bottom of the pot. You don't need a reservoir as big as the pot, if that makes any sense. So just use a plastic saucer, or I don't know, I made water everywhere. Anyway, plastic saucer, something to hold some water, depending how big is the pot. Right, let's give you an example. What do we have here? We have my burn marks, right? We have my burn marks. He's in a vase. Doesn't have any holes, because I don't believe in flushing. The only thing that you'll do with the flushing is eliminate salt deposit. But if you have calcium deposit, you will not do anything with flush. So it's up to you if you want to flush or not. So you will see that I don't have any holes on any of my this type of pot or jars or plastic cups or whatever, right? Depending how big it is. If it's bigger, the leca will stay moist or damp for longer. If you don't have any, if you can't see it, right, just remove the first layer of the leca, and like that you'll see down under the first layer that the leca it's a different color, which means that leca it's still damp. So it's the next to remove some layers and you see that they are damp, they are good to go. You don't need to water it. Even if the reservoir doesn't have any water, I don't think you can see it, but this one doesn't have any water at the bottom. But I'm sure that the leca inside, it's still wet. So, to be more, Jesus, I can't find my word. To be more efficient with the semi-hydroponics, bigger pots are more efficient because they will not dry out so quickly. So if you can put your plant in a bigger pot, that will be brilliant for leca, because you can go without watering that plant for 2 or 3 weeks or even a month, depending on your climate. Yeah. I'm jumping from a thing to another and I'm sure I will forget things to say. So right, you have a reservoir, you have your pot, you have your plant. Plants, do not put a sick plant in leca. So just because your plant is not going well in compost, don't think that that plant will thrive in leca if she's already sick. Don't put rotten roots in leca. Clean the roots. Don't be afraid to cut the roots. Don't be afraid to use hydrogen peroxide 3% on the healthy roots after you remove the rotten part, because the oxygen from hydrogen peroxide will kill the bacteria. Do not use more than 3% because you will burn your roots. Alright, so you have your plant, wherever that is. We have another example here, Standleyana, right? Which, see, it's decorative pot with the cash pot in it, and we have a root that it's coming out. But look, I don't think you can see the amount of water, it's almost close to nothing, but I will still not water this plant. So, you have your plant, right? I take this for an example. Put leca, just not half, not 3/4, just a quarter on the bottom, just to cover the bottom. Put the plant in, the rest fill it in with leca. Give it a good shake, holding the plant, sorry for that, holding the plant really well. Give it a good shake, the balls will fall into place. Don't worry about it. You don't, the plant, the root of the plant will still have a lot of air, because leca it's porous and can trap air inside it. And because it's not compacted, they will not compact. They will form pockets of air around the root. Shush. Sorry about that. I have a little guard dog and a big one. Right. So, put your plant... Oh my god. Ozzy, stop it. Put your plant quite deep in the pot. When the roots are coming out, so in that way, you actually stimulate the plant to develop water roots more quicker, because she's more close to the water reservoir, and the leca will be always more damp on the bottom than on the top. If the roots are coming out and you take the plant out and you see that the roots are not quite so big, just rearrange the roots in the same pot. You will not hurt the roots. It's not like with compost. It's easier to check the plant. You will not hurt the plant. The roots will not suffer. They will suffer only if you, I don't know, rip the leca from the roots. But no, take it out steady, tipping it like that, and check the roots and rearrange them. Put again the leca just till here a quarter of the pot, put the roots on top, and so on. What are we doing now about watering? We have the plant, we have the leca, we have the plant in the leca, we have the reservoir, we have everything, right? First of all, when you are putting a plant into leca, you are washing the roots, right? So it's a lot of stress for those roots and a lot of water in the same time. If your leca is already wet as well, you can put leca to dry, but if it's wet, it's wet. You can't do anything about it. So you have wet leca and wet roots. If you have the time, leave those roots to evaporate some of the water, to dry out. If you don't have the time, put the plant in the leca, but don't water it. Now, depending on your climate, again, if it's really hot, it will dry quicker. If it's really humid, if it's cold, if it's, I don't know. Take those things in consideration. Leave that plant till at least half of the leca is dry. Because remember, you have the root on the bottom. So the bottom leca will always be damp. Only if you don't water it for, I don't know, 3 months. So leave at least half of the pot to dry. This is why these are really handy, because you can see through them. But if you can't see through them, I've told you, just remove some leca. Just pick it up and watch the leca underneath, how it's looking like. So after half of the pot or more, it's dry, we can water it, right? Now, there are a lot of people that are using a lot of methods and a lot of nutrients, and I think you can use whatever you want, and you will figure it out if your plant combined with the weather, with the ventilation in the room, with the sun that you give them, they adjust to those nutrients. Some people are saying not to give any nutrients to the plant, I don't know, in the first month or two. I'm not doing that. I'm giving nutrients to the plant from the first day that I put it in leca, if the leca and the roots are dry. So I don't go by that, and all the plants are doing fine. Well, most of them, because semi-hydroponics is not a guaranteed success. For some people it's working, for some people it doesn't work, but there are some plants that they will not adjust to semi-hydroponics, no matter what you are doing. Even if you are doing everything textbook, they will not adjust, okay? So don't get discouraged, because some plants, and most of the plants are doing fabulous in semi-hydroponics. Fabulous, and I know it because I'm doing that for the last 7 years. All right, we are going sidetrack. Right, so now with the nutrients, you can use whatever nutrients you want. But remember that those nutrients are created for hydroponics, not for semi-hydroponics. When I'm saying that, hydroponics, it's a system that it's recirculating the water, right? You have air stones in there, you have pumps, you have all sorts of things that will influence the nutrients and the stability in those nutrients, like pH and EC. Okay? We don't have that. We have a reservoir of water that it's even evaporating, or it will go moldy if it's not hot enough for the water to evaporate. Okay? So if the bottle with the nutrients says, I don't know, 5 milliliters per liter, you should put 1 milliliter per liter. Yeah, don't put 5. You guarantee for a disaster. So less is more with the semi-hydroponics or passive hydroponics. Remember that leca it's absorbing water. It will absorb some of the nutrients from the water and she will keep them there. What that means, it's the next time that you add water with nutrients, okay, leca will double the amount of nutrients, some of them that are not lost. And we have a big fly in the room. Okay, so leca will double the amount of nutrients in the water. So what do I recommend in that case is water your plant 2 weeks with the nutrients, or because you'll not, maybe you'll add water once or twice a week, yeah, 2 weeks with the water with the nutrients, and 2 weeks just water them with plain water. It's not recommended the water from the tap water from the tap water, English, but the filtered water. Now it's again depending of your area, depending of what kind of water you have, that would influence the plant, the root of the plant as well. So it's even you filtered water, even you use osmosis water or distilled water, which in my case it's not possible because there are so many and it will cost me a fortune, the water. But you have to remember that osmosis water and distilled water have a really low EC. In that case, you can play with the nutrients more, but we will not go in that because it's a more complicated subject. So this is only for beginners. So use Super Thrive, use I don't know, whatever it's made for hydroponics. Even Super Thrive is not made for hydroponics, but use whatever you want in those nutrient water and watch the plant. Watch the plant. If she responds well, continue with that. If she doesn't, stop it. Try something else. Read on the internet. Research what that plant needs. Needs more calcium, needs more nitrogen, needs more, I don't know, magnesium. Research, because that's the best way to know things. Researching. Okay, so you put your water with nutrients for 2 weeks, yeah? That leca will soak some of the nutrients will be lost, some of the nutrients will be absorbed by the plant. If you put again water or nutrients, I've told you, so the EC will double and it will be really big. You don't have to do that. I've noticed even if you boil the leca, the EC is still not coming down for some reason. So that means that the leca retains a lot of the nutrients in the bowls. Well, leca is bowls, little bowls. So my advice to you, and I'm trying this for the last three months, and I think I have a better result like that. Water 2 weeks with nutrients, 2 or 3 weeks even with plain water, rainwater, osmosis water, whatever water you have in hand. It will take, the water will take nutrients from the leca, because when they are getting wet, they release those nutrients that they have. So if the leca is dry, they will not release anything. It will be like the plant will be in rocks. Okay? So I hope this clarifies some things for you. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comments down below or on Instagram, however you want. And see you guys in my next video, I guess. Bye!